Alright, viewer discretion. This episode may be a little bit squeamish. There may be live piercing and all that. So if you're squeamish, maybe this is not the episode for you. But if you're interested to see what's up next, just stay tuned. Welcome back, Midlifers. Today we have a really exciting episode for you. So today is Thaipusam Day itself. For those of you unaware, Thaipusam is one of Singapore's unique festivals, but you might not be aware of it because it's not really a public holiday. So I'm here to explain a little bit more about the festival, and for all you photographers out there, I'm going to give you a few tips as well. Thaipusam, of course, is one of Singapore's unique festivals because it involves a live foot procession. It's about 2 to 3 km long. We are going to go into the temple, we're going to document everything. I'm going to explain to you the do's and don'ts so that if you ever wondered how to participate or just come and take a look, you know what to do and what not to do. So today we have a guest, a fellow Midlifer, the youngest team member, Harold here. He's joining us. So he's done a few right things. I'm going to go through the do's and don'ts with you. But Harold, do you want to say hi to all the viewers out there?
Hi everyone from Midlifers, I'm Harold. I'm glad to be the latest member of Midlifers. And I think this is a very fun journey that I'm about to be on, or rather have already been on. I'm looking forward to more as such.
Okay, so before we cut to the video straight, I'm just going to go through the do's and don'ts. So I think a lot of photographers out there in all the photography chats were asking what's the appropriate attire, what do I do, what can I not do. So I think, Harold, you've done great, okay? So first thing first, the top, colorful top. If you want to blend in like Ian and I, you can wear yellow or orange. And then make sure your knees are covered, so long pants or something like a sarong. Of course, if you're unwell, don't come and participate in these festivities. If you're actively bleeding or injured, then you should try to avoid coming into the temple. If you've been drinking alcohol, you're actually not supposed to enter the temple as well. If you can, try to avoid wearing colors such as black or white, because those are considered a little bit more inauspicious. If you can, please do wear yellow and orange. We're gonna go in and take some photos. We're gonna teach you all the equipment you might need for a photography adventure here. But we'll cover some things about the Thaipusam festivities along the way as well. It's gonna be very difficult for me to talk inside the temple because it's super loud. I think you can hear the music right now. But I'll interspace some tidbits of valuable nuggets for all of you. And I think Harold will also share some of his experiences with you later on.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, so please watch to the end. Thank you.
All right, so you might be wondering what sort of gear would be suitable, what camera, what lenses you might need to bring. I've got with me a Konica Hexa 35mm film camera. I've also got a Mamiya 7 with a 43mm lens. So this is a wide angle lens on a medium format camera. This is your standard 35mm camera. Personally, I feel there'll be a lot of close-up shots, so a wide angle would be fantastic. Regular 35 should be okay. I think 28 might not be suitable, but I think you can still make it work. For close-up shots, you might want a telephoto, but that just shows you that there's so many opportunities to take different kinds of photography. So I think as long as you have any of the photography gear you have out there, you can actually use them and take the photos. Film-wise, I'm going with ISO 400 because it's bright daylight. We'll be indoors, so there'll be a bit less light. If you're shooting at nighttime, you may want to go with higher ISO film, but honestly, if you are really shooting at night or early in the morning, I would suggest avoid film altogether.
I've never shot Thaipusam prior to this, so I generally just pack the way I would usually pack if I'm going around Singapore to shoot. This time round, I have with me the Sony ZV-E1 and the 16 to 28mm from Sigma, my really trusted workhorse combination. But I can foresee that I'll be taking really a lot of telephoto shots. So inside my bag, I have a 70-200G Master Mark I.
Okay, so Harold, I think this is your first time going in. So there are some do's and don'ts, not just on attire, but also on mannerisms and behavior, especially as a photographer. So this is a religious festival after all. So you're going to be very respectful, very mindful. Try to be as non-intrusive as you can. So I seen you brought a digital camera, so I think you don't really need to use a flash photography, yeah, because that can be a bit jarring, especially for the devotees out there. I'm pretty sure the devotees are more than happy to have us there, but just be a bit respectful, don't get in the way of their devotion, so that at the end of the day, we all have a good time. Okay, so footwear-wise, I think most of us recommend wearing slippers, especially if you're gonna go into the temple grounds. If you look just outside, you'll notice like a lot of slippers are out there. Generally speaking, I think it varies between who you ask, but some people consider it okay still to wear slippers along the courtyard and the multi-purpose areas. It's just that when you go into the temple grounds, by right, you're supposed to remove your footwear, and actually there's a tap at the side of the temple. You're supposed to do a bit of ablutions, which means wash up your legs, hands, and all that before you enter the temple. Yeah, so that's something for all of you to take note. If you're really afraid that you might lose your footwear, bring a plastic bag. You can put your footwear into the plastic bag and you can carry it along throughout the procession, throughout the journey in the temple.
This is really my first Thaipusam and I kind of don't understand what's going on. So what does Thaipusam actually celebrate?
Okay, so Thaipusam is quite a unique festival. It involves carrying a burden, but what it commemorates is actually the Lord Murugan, which is one of the Hindu deities, being given a lance, a spear. Okay, so actually he goes on to defeat this demi-god called Surapadman, who was tyrannical. But Thaipusam itself, it celebrates the day he was gifted this spear. And Murugan, of course, has other stories attached to him, so I'll go through them a little bit later. But that's more or less Thaipusam. Thaipusam happens in the month of the Tamil calendar called Thai, hence the name Thai. And it also occurs when there's a confluence of the Pusam star with the full moon. So actually today or tomorrow is the full moon, as you might know or not know if you're into astrophotography. Yeah, so Thaipusam usually falls within this day, so usually in the beginning of the year. The Tamil calendar is a bit unique in the sense that it's a solar calendar like our Gregorian calendar. So usually the days don't shift too much.
Okay, so Prash, actually I have another question. What were they doing inside the temple? You know, all the piercings and everything.
Okay, so usually Thaipusam is celebrated by carrying a kavadi. Kavadi loosely translates into a burden. So usually you're trying to balance spiritual debt by doing a physical burden. So you carry something that's physically a bit taxing on a long procession route like today, and then that helps you to balance this debt. Usually spiritually you might ask for better health, wealth. Some people, they want fertility, stuff like that. As you saw inside, you saw that many people were doing a lot of different things, okay? So it can get a bit chaotic because everyone has to follow a strict time slot. So if you actually attend Thaipusam in Singapore, you realize it's super duper organized compared to other parts of the world. What happens way before even Thaipusam date, right, is that they start fasting, usually a week, sometimes even a month before. Some of the devotees, they undertake a fast, they practice celibacy, they sleep on the floor, you know, live very simply in preparation for Thaipusam. Because you technically, to carry a karvadi, you need to get into the right mental state before you can do all this. On the day off, they come in very early, okay? There's actually a part where you can shower. So you're supposed to cleanse the body, okay? Physically, of course. You shower, because the weeks prior to that, you have actually spiritually so-called cleansed the body. You shower, then you form a small little area, you set it up, and then you do basically small altar and bless the equipment that you're gonna use, okay? So after that is done, then the actual piercing happens. Depending on how elaborate your kavadi is, the piercing may take quite a while. So you might notice some of them, they've been there, I think, more than an hour getting pierced one by one, okay? After all the piercing is done, if you're carrying the conventional kavadi, I think as you know it, then that's when they will actually make their way to the foot procession route that we can see here at the back of us. Usually just before they step out of the temple, they will bow before the deity, do a silent prayer. I guess at the end of the day, it really varies between individual, but usually they will say a little prayer and then they will actually set off from the temple itself. Along the route, you will actually notice there'll be small shrines set up as well. So at those checkpoints, they may even stop, do a small dance, and pray to the gods in those shrines before continuing on with the whole procession. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I hope it wasn't too windy, but I hope all you viewers understand a little bit about Thaipusam. If I got it wrong, I'm sure someone will point it out down below.
But it's very informative, this piece of information, and thank you for helping the wider community understand about Thaipusam.
It's okay, it's okay. So you might have noticed that I'm shooting Pro 400H. So I know this is not a wedding, but this is way bigger than a wedding. It's going to be more exciting. So this is the time to shoot such rolls. So let's go. So part and parcel of street photography is actually finding the right scene, right lighting, and just waiting for a suitable subject. So I think I found that. Now I'm just waiting for a suitable subject right here, because I think with this striking light, it'll add a dramatic effect to the celebratory atmosphere. I'm looking for maybe a very outstanding Kavadi so that I can take that shot in this beautiful lighting this morning during golden hour. I think I've got it.
So there are certain locations which are pretty good to take photos of Thaipusam and the whole procession. So this is one of them. We're currently opposite Sota at the junction over here. So as you can see right behind us, there's this floodlight over here that can help to light up any of the devotees who intend to cross this path all the way to the paths behind.
Yeah, so actually if you're shooting on film, where film ISO doesn't, or film ASA doesn't go very high, or if let's say your camera isn't that good, then you might want to position yourself near all these floodlights where it's well illuminated. You can get nice mood from the harsh lighting actually. So this is just another one of my favorite locations. We're just opposite Tekka Market. Tekka is just starting to wake up, so you hear a lot of shutters opening up right now. But this is a nice spot because a lot of people can walk to and fro, so you can get very up close to the devotees. There's actually just a traffic light. If you want to cross the road, you can actually go up Tekka Market, and if you have a long telephoto like yours, you can actually take some nice shots as well. All right, so we've been shooting for a while now. I've been shooting only on film. I kind of regret taking film for this hour. I think in this kind of environment where it's very dark, I'm getting like, even at my f2 2.8, I'm getting speeds of 1/30 of a second. So in this kind of environment, perhaps it's just better to go digital like what Harold did, okay? So I think that would be a bit more sensible if you're shooting in very early or very late in the evenings. There are appropriate times to use film, but I'm still gonna shoot the film. I'm gonna transition into digital.
So I actually have a lot of questions to ask about the Kavadi, but here's a con of bringing too much gear to a shoot.
I guess that's his own Kavadi lah, in a way. It's his own burden.
I feel so much better now. Okay, anyway, so I see a lot of shapes and sizes of the Kavadi that's being around.
Yeah.
So just to ask, what are the different shapes and sizes and what do they specifically mean?
Okay, so as I said, the Kavadi is a physical burden that you carry. So there's different levels or tiers of difficulty, I would say. Some are also confined by which gender you are. If you're a lady, you can't do certain things, or traditionally you're not supposed to do certain Kavadis. Exact reason, I'm not really sure why, but that's what I know traditionally growing up. I never really questioned it. So, but if you know the reason why, you can put it down below. But mainly the Kavadis are broken into two kinds. Okay, one is the one where there's a bit of piercing involved, one that is not. Of the non-piercing, you will have the milk pots or the sanctified water. I think that's the most common. You'll see a lot of people carrying those Kavadis. Of course, you also have shoulder Kavadis. You have something you carry on your shoulder. There's usually three kinds, one with flowers, one like made beautiful with peacock feathers. Another one is just like a pole with two weights at the side. Of the piercing kinds, the most simplest one is the one that either pierces the tongue or the mouth. It's usually to sort of silence you so that you don't speak. You focus on the procession ahead and just do the Kavadi properly. Of course, you have the more elaborate ones where there's piercing at the back. The piercing at the back could be just like, pots of milk hanging at the back or fruits. Sometimes it's even like pulling a chariot. Then the last one is Mayal Kavadi. I think that's what people know when they say Kavadi, especially for a non-Tamil person. So that's the elaborate metal Kavadis that they carry. It can be quite heavy actually. I think 20 to 40 kgs is what I heard. of metal that's actually suspended to your body through piercings all over. I think Ian will probably show all the Kavadis in the video. Exceedingly rare is a sugarcane Kavadi that is usually done by couples when they've been blessed with a child, usually after many years of infertility. Usually they might even have the child, they will carry the child on the sugarcane as a Kavadi, you know? Yeah, so those are the different kinds of Kavadi. I guess there are different tiers of difficulty. I wouldn't say like one is more pious than the other. I think we just should do what we're comfortable doing. I think you can even just walk the path without actually carrying a Kavadi. I think that will bless you in some way as well.
Because the distance itself can be...
it can be quite tiring actually. And you've got to consider the environment, the weather. We did it in the morning when it was cool and nice, it wasn't too bad. But now the sun is coming up, the heat is, in Singapore you know the heat, you know?
And the asphalt are very good, like absorbers of heat. So
yes, if you're doing it barefoot, it's gonna be quite difficult. It's not gonna be easy. Yeah. So let's continue walking around. Let's take a look at the other Kavadis. Let's see if we can spot all of them. Maybe you want to take a look and see whether you've spotted all the Kavadis that I mentioned earlier.
yeah, but before we go and look all the Kavadis, right, I carry mine first.
All right, so we're done with the Thaipusam walk. Was a bit difficult. It's getting very hot right now. So I think we're gonna call it a day here. Harold actually had to leave, so that's why you don't see him anymore. So I just dropped off my rolls at Whampoa Colour Centre. I think attending Thaipusam is a unique experience. I would implore everyone to try it, but of course respectfully and try to be as non-intrusive as you can. You are definitely going to make mistakes. You're definitely going to bump into someone accidentally while they're performing their devotion, but just apologize, move on and all this. 2 lessons I would suggest is learn from Harold. Do not carry your own Kavadi. Don't carry so much gear. Don't maybe shoot film if you're shooting in nighttime or early mornings, because film doesn't really perform well in such low light. We don't really have high ISO films anymore. If you love this episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Midlifers.